Being on vacation for 10-ish days during a seasonal update, crazy stories breaking it all, well, it feels good to be back in the swing of things, but what a weird time it's been the last few days. Did I want to entirely disconnect and just chill at the beach? For sure, but I too was glued to some of the news coming out. Just couldn't get any content out on it. In this one, I want to talk about some of the weird leaks coming out for Season 3 in a few weeks here in Black Ops 6. Obviously, the big one is the expected release of Verdansk, but Season 3 might not even feel like a Black Ops game, and I'll get to that in a second. But that said, drop your thoughts, drop a like, and if you'd like to stick around for more coverage on COD, other FPS titles, and all, I'd love to have it in the community, so consider subscribing. But for now, let's get into it. So while it's not still officially confirmed, it's been long rumored that we'd see Verdansk returning in Season 3. It was mentioned back at COD Next this past year that it would be returning in the spring sometime, but all the way stemming back from that 2023 Fortnite OG kickoff that stirred the, oh, maybe this could work in Call of Duty's eyes, things have seemingly been altered in the content calendar and pushed out of the way to make way for Verdansk's return. Avalon seemingly being shelved until later this fall is the key example of that. The timing of the anniversary coming up as well, of course, sure, we've had some coincidental stuff, but just speculation. Nothing really concrete on when Verdansk would be coming was ever mentioned, again, other than the spring. However, with the Season 2 Reloaded update, assets seem to be added in the game that now point towards Verdansk. According to leaker Reality UK, some assets have now been added into the game files for Verdansk, not the entirety though, which a lot of people thought would happen, and with the sizing of the update, seemed like that was a solid assumption, but apparently not the entire map is there just yet, so you can't break down and find all these intricate details on what the map will include. But he also stated that codename for Verdansk is OG Verdansk, and also added, should be able to infer that means the OG version of the map, where he mentioned stadium closed once again, shaking my head. That we'll expand on in a bit because there is a little bit more in terms of other leaks pertaining to the contents of the map, but for now, we should mention that a Season 2.75 seems to be planned like Season 1 had, according to another leaker, Alex. That in Season 1 was the Squid Games event. But what would a Season 2.75 even be? Well, my guess is it would be a celebration for the 5-year anniversary of Verdansk and Warzone's launch, leading to the launch of the map in Season 3. I mean, think about it. Season 3 launches on March 20th. You have the Season 2.75 update in at any point between 1 to 2 weeks out, and from there, 1 to 2 weeks out, right in the middle of that is March 10th, the actual anniversary smack dab in the middle of that window. So it could be something that adds a special in-game event like a reveal of some kind, hinting at, hey, here's like a cinematic leading to Verdansk and the launch with Season 3 in a week's time. Could be an actual playable or interactable event, like a throwback rewards previewing what's to come and so on, but I personally think it just makes too much sense to be another crossover event that requires updates and content, but who knows? But beyond that, recently leaked was apparent details of the map experience coming for Verdansk, where according to leaker and insider The Ghost of Hope, he stated Verdansk will launch with Season 3 of Black Ops 6. It is pretty much the OG March 2020 version. Train station's interior will be closed. The interior of stadium will be open, but the roof will be closed. The train returns, and there will be no fast travel subway system. This was interestingly corroborated further with Charlie Intel, who doesn't usually touch on such leaks like this unless he's sure of it. I know the guy personally. After over a decade of doing this stuff, he wouldn't stake his reputation unless he was certain something like that was actually the case, which makes this incredibly interesting. Some of these things are definitely, I don't know if questionable is the word to go with, but it seems like some people will have thoughts, myself included. For me, train station interior being closed seems like a missed opportunity. No fast travel system, I get, but I'd like to see that introduced later on down the line. I did like that as a quality of life thing within Verdansk, both the OG version in, I think it was like Season 4 or maybe 5 within Modern Warfare 2019, and then again with the Red Door system in Black Ops Cold War. But also, stadium being open but not accessible via the roof is odd, but I kind of like the sound of that. It would definitely be a way to get around that classic zone pull with the OG Verdansk and the issues that lie there. Because if someone had, say, a helicopter and the zone pulled into, or rather onto stadium, anyone who was stuck on the bottom outside of stadium was basically dealt an auto loss, because at that point there were no zip lines up to the roof. There was no way other than a helicopter to get on the roof of stadium. So being able to get inside while the roof is still intact is a way to possibly prevent some of those oddities that would happen with the zone pool. But what's interesting is this wasn't always going to be the case on how this was presented. In fact, I almost published a video on Verdansk a couple of days ago here. I scheduled that for like the day of or the day after these leaks happened that recapped what we knew about Verdansk up until this point, because it was previously reported it wasn't going to be too much of a one-to-one original to the OG Verdansk. And I'd even heard that from multiple people, some credible enough that I didn't really know if I should mention specifics, because like it's one of those things like you shouldn't know this information. But Hope himself had mentioned that he had heard things like Fringe was going to be in Verdansk, to which he mentioned, I fail to understand why it took so long for just OG Verdansk to return, but my theory is that they were originally going to do their own new spin on Verdansk and then course corrected at some point to just making it the OG version, but I have no actual information to back this up. And that to me makes sense and would be logical given what we have heard for a long portion of time now at this point, but with COD, sometimes logic isn't exactly king, so who knows? I also wouldn't be surprised if this is something that we see more frequent updates for the map, especially if we're on that same time schedule of a Season 3 to Season 6 and then Season 1 changeover, where we only have Verdansk for half a year until Avalon is launched with COD 2025 Season 1. I mean, it did take multiple seasons to make those jumps in the original Verdansk in the past, so maybe we just speed those things up a little bit. Maybe we see this stuff at launch, train station open up in Season 4, fast travel in Season 5, something in Season 6, who knows? Also, it's mentioned that it's possible that Urzikstan is going away with Verdansk's return, which I personally thought was always going to be the case, but the possibility of it not is intriguing to me. I'm sure that after a year and a half of Urzikstan, people wouldn't mind if it went away, but it also may open the prospect of a large map rotation or choices of future maps making the way for maybe, say, Verdansk to perhaps stay indefinitely and alongside the launch of Avalon later this year as well, offering 2 big maps to play on. But beyond that, I mentioned earlier that this season might not necessarily even feel like a Black Ops game. Well, why is that? Turns out, further leaks basically turn this into a Warzone anniversary or throwback update as a whole, with not just only Verdansk, but also weapons and operators too. According to the Ghost of Hope, we'll be seeing the return of a few classic Modern Warfare weapons in the Verdansk theme in a Black Ops 6 Season 3 update. The HDR, Grau, Kilo, and AMAX are all apparently going to be returning, assumedly with Season 3 and perhaps a little beyond, so at least 3 to 4 weapons that are not native to the Black Ops franchise in recent years, but instead invoke that nostalgia of Modern Warfare 2019. And beyond that, all code names of additional weapons were added. Kent, which is an AR, Gilroy as an AR, which is apparently the Grau, the Pyork, which is a pistol, the Shuck, which is an SMG, Napa, a special, Keen, a melee, and the Hugo as sniper, which is also apparently the HDR. But to make things even weirder, according to Alex, we're going to see the return of Hudson. Okay, he should be dead, but all right, whatever. We've seen things retconned or like just added to the not so continuity universe of multiplayer in the past. But then Rose, Mace, and Domino from Modern Warfare with this season and beyond are apparently going to be added within Black Ops 6. So again, additional Modern Warfare operators in a Black Ops 6 game. And again, we've seen stuff like this happen before. We had Woods in Modern Warfare 3, and we had Price in Black Ops 4 and stuff like that. The crossover things for promotional and other ideas of getting you to pre-order the next game, that's not something new. And of course, with the universes being now tied since the Modern Warfare reboot in 2019, it's not the craziest thing, but it's odd we're seeing a Black Ops season introducing apparently so much Modern Warfare content. Additionally, other operators of Maroon, Azure, and Yellow all being for COD 2025 apparently, and Lettuce, Cabbage, and John were found in the game files with this update. Some theories include Lettuce and Cabbage being another Cheech and Chong crossover, which with April coming up, 420, I wouldn't be surprised by that, especially with now how many multiple reused crossover collaborations or like running it back they've done. The Boys, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, why wouldn't Cheech and Chong also be another one? That could absolutely be a possibility. Same thing with John. Some people think this is Rambo, but who knows? So Black Ops 6 Season 3 is poised to introduce a lot of cool stuff for sure, but a lot of strange things as well, where it's a Black Ops season, but is it really? Like, how much of this is going to be Modern Warfare content being reintroduced into Black Ops just for the sake of adding it into Warzone? Like, Warzone, of course, is where everything is housed as one universal sort of just bank of everything, but for a Black Ops game, it seems weird. We've never seen a game introduce basically a whole season and massive content drop of a different game in said game. So we'll have to wait and see, and how much of this actually comes true, who knows. As with all leaks and rumors, take it all with a grain of salt. Things in development aren't necessarily indicative of their final state. They're just a snapshot in that window of time of when they were added on the back end in the game files. So we still have at least a couple of weeks before some of these things do make their way into the game, in which case they still could be changed at that point. So we'll have to wait and see, but for now, I wanted to fill you guys in on what was all going on here the last couple of days. Nice to be back in the saddle here and making content once again, but for now, that's going to wrap it up. Drop your thoughts down below, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and make sure to subscribe for more Black Ops 6 and other FPS coverage. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care, and peace.